Hi everyone, welcome to the Miller Life Kitchen. Today I'm going to be pressure canning pineapple drumsticks. This recipe is from a book from Angi Schneider, Pressure Canning for Beginners and Beyond. It's an excellent book. I really enjoyed the book, and there are so many recipes I'm going to be doing from it. This is a raw pack chicken, and then we are currently making the sauce. So you're going to begin with 5 cups of pineapple, 1 cup of rice vinegar, 1 cup of soy, 1 cup of ketchup, 2 teaspoons of chili garlic sauce, 2 teaspoons of dried ground ginger, and then 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Gonna mix this well, and then we're gonna be heating it up on the stove. You're going to bring this up to a medium boil, and you're going to do that for 5 minutes. Here I have about 9.5 pounds of chicken legs. The recipe calls for 10 pounds, and it says it will get you 6 quarts. I did end up with 5 quarts, and I did have some leftover broth. I'm getting my gloves on first for handling the raw meat. I just don't really like to touch all the raw meat with my hands. So let's get my gloves on. And then we're going to begin packing the jars. And again, this is a raw packed chicken. So these are clean jars and the room temperature chicken. We're going to pack these jars tightly with our drumsticks, chicken legs. Try to kind of move them around and see if you can get one more in there. And sometimes what I do is I kind of look for a littler leg and, try to finagle them in there that way. If I feel like the headspace isn't going to be right, if I put that one last piece of chicken in because it's too big, I will just leave it out and have more broth. I will proceed and get all of these guys in the jars, and I will speed that up a little bit for you. Once all your jars are packed, you're going to begin putting the liquid in them. You're going to be having this packed to a 1 1/4 headspace. And then once you have the liquid in, your biggest thing you need to do is debubble. This is so important, especially when you have chicken legs, because they're in there tightly. You got to move them around and try not to rip all the skin off. That's another thing. But there might be, and there most likely will be, loads of air pockets. This is very important, so you don't have siphoning. Once you've debubbled and you're pretty confident that they're debubbled well, you're going to be wiping your rims. I forgot to get a paper towel, so that's where I went. Like my kitty cat slippers? They're so comfy. They're Skechers. Anyway, back to the program. Here we are wiping our rims. I am using vinegar for these rims because this sauce does contain a lot of sticky ingredients. Then you're going to close your jar and put your lid on, fingertip tight. Do not crank them down or you will have some buckling. You'll notice I always give it a good stir before I begin to put my broth in, because there are a lot of things that can settle when you're doing this kind of project. So I forgot to put on my, anybody notice? The funnel. So if I would not wipe these rims, I would be in trouble. There you go. Sometimes you just forget things. Here you'll notice, though, this is a really good example. You can see when I'm debubbling, this jar is packed really tight. So you will see now when I plunge down, there is some of the broth going down in there that was not there before. Those were air pockets. So I'm going to work this jar pretty well to make sure I get as many as humanly possible out of there. I'm putting these into a warming canner, and I'm going to get these all packed up and into the canner, and then we will be back. Got my canner loaded up, closed down. I'm using my Presto, and I ended up again with 5 quarts. Here I'm showing you the best that I can. Sometimes it's hard to capture on camera, the 10-minute vent. And what I like about this is you can see the sputtering that's happening out of that petcock. That is showing you that that 10 minutes of venting is removing the air from the canner. It's creating the pressure. Then we put our weight on after that 10 minutes, and we're going to bring it up to a slow jiggle. You'll notice here that my dial does say higher than, the 11 pounds, but sometimes I just listen to the actual jiggle, not look at the gauge so much. I do write on a pad what time I start. That way, if something happens with my timer, I know exactly what time I started. Always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. Now, you'll notice that in the back left corner, there was a jar that had some stuff on it. It did siphon because you can see the little grease bubbles. So you're going to be letting these sit on your countertop for 24 hours. They all did seal, all 5 quarts. And I will get them washed up after I did this during the day, so by tonight before I go to bed, I'm just going to make sure they all sealed, but they actually all pinged, and I can see that they're all sealed down, but these will need to be washed up in some vinegar and Dawn liquid. But it was a success, and I can't wait to open one up with you. Thank you for joining me today. If you like what you saw today, please hit the thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe. I will see you again next time at the Miller Life Kitchen. Thank you for coming.